Hi, everyone. This is our sprint planning sync meeting for June 21st for the conversion group on the digital experience team. I'm going to actually hand it off to Philza real quick if you want to just go over for Jess, and I'll share my screen with the board I have, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Yep. So Jess is currently working on continuing to work on the campus and education research that she's been working on, and then also started the UX for the Y Premium and Y Ultimate page. Already seen a couple of working progress stuff for that, and it looks great. So I know she's just iterating through that as well. And then I'll pass it over to Tyler.
Hello. I got a lot of stuff in the column here. I do not think I'm going to get to all of it, but I want to start on it and turn this into what I'm focused on for probably the foreseeable ever. Stuff that is going to get done between now and next week. So I've got a small thing to push some new namespace ID information into our global data layer from Google Tag Manager. And then I'm going to convert some of the existing e-commerce data layer stuff to the Google Analytics 4, or we're going to track them parallel for now. So I'm going to add that code. And then it looks like there's maybe some missing or new data layer events for the SaaS trial flow. And Dennis, question for you on this. Did you give that to me in the GA4 stuff, or do you need to convert that over before I work on it?
So you only need to do GA4 for ecom.
Oh, cool. Everything else is the same. It's just pushing stuff into data layer.
Yeah, don't do them yet though, the ecom
Oh.
one, because I'm still tweaking the data layer because I submitted some tests on Friday and they're not really showing up correctly on GA4.
Okay, cool. Let's reconvene in the issues. So maybe I won't be working on that. But the reason I organize it like this is because those first three issues are things that are in code bases that I have worked on and know where to go to do stuff. And then the other things are all sort of part of one big ball of wax right now, which is getting Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics in the customers.gitlab.com application, which is a separate code base, a separate instance, just totally different from everything else we do. So I have to get up to speed on it, get a development environment, do the stuff. And there's two issues here about that. But I'm going to sort of bundle it. I'm probably going to promote that up to an epic and then sort of start the discovery process of what all I actually need to do. I was hoping to do the other stuff first, but maybe I'll have to do these sort of parallel. So we are just going to roll with the punches on that and see what we see. And we'll move stuff forward and try and do as small bite-sized chunks as I can to get to ship some value even as things are evolving. So that's me. Megan, you were up next.
Yeah, first off, the ROI calculator tests, this work started end of last week. First, we need to update the node version of our repository. And I think since we brought that up in our retro, no issues have been brought up by anyone on the team. So you could probably merge that soon. And then I have a follow-up MR that adds just and the tests. So that just needs to be reviewed once that dependency MR is merged. So that's just about done. The buttons iteration, that's just about done. There's one thing where we're adding an animation. We have a button component and a button with icon component, and neither are very friendly with this animation right now. I may have to update the component in its entirety to allow variants and stuff. So I think the scope on that might be a little bigger than 1 point. For the refresh update page, that was really simple. That MR is just about ready from this morning. And then this morning, last night, Samya tagged a few of us in this legal disclaimer issue. I just grabbed it because I felt like if someone from legal brought it up, it's a compliance issue, probably should get that done fast. But just waiting on a question where they actually want the disclaimer, if it's on every single page or the results page. I'm going to assume it's the last one, but I'll wait for Samya's feedback on that. But that should be very simple to get done. I'm only online for 3 days in this iteration, so I think this is kind of a good amount of work. Most of it's done today, and then the next 2 days, I'm sure there'll be a lot of back and forth for the MRs. So I know Gabby isn't here, but did anyone want to speak for her? We move on to Dennis. Okay.
Before I do real quick, Megan, have you been following that the other issue about adding a lead gen form to the ROI calculator?
I know that Samia had made those issues. I have
Mm.
never worked with Marketo. From what I'm understanding, marketing is making the form, and then we're just like
Yeah.
grabbing the form and putting it in. But I was waiting for more of those details to be hashed out.
Okay. I haven't created like an actual engineering issue. I wasn't sure if you had. I know you'd brought it up, and then it was something that I saw that we were kind of tagged in just yesterday. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure like what if that's things you're out, if that's something they want this in the next 2 weeks, or if that can wait till you can back. If not, we might assign that to get it added in there.
Okay.
Would you mind, Justin, would you mind sending me that issue, Jess and I, just so we can take a look?
Yeah, I think Jess might be added on that one too,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'll send it over to you because it's a I don't think we need that, but
Yeah.
it's a I understand why they want it, so we can kind of take it and go from there. All right, I can speak for Gabby. She's kind of working on more this header scroll animation might be discovery, because what Jam 3 had proposed is a little more complex and would mean bigger changes to like headers across the site, and breaking them into like each line is a different span or a different p tag, which isn't as easy as we really want it to do. She has some cleanup work for the GitLab scroll page, and I assigned her for the pricing template that Jess is working on. Because this is Gabby's first like page template, I wanted her to like have some little more time on it, even though Jess isn't fully done. They can kind of communicate back and forth, and Gabby can see where Jess is at, and she can start that initial planning on the page template. But that might be it might take her a little bit longer to get that spun up and going. That's why I wanted to assign it to her sooner, so she can start that process. And I'll kind of speak for Elise. Like I'm gonna, I might have him do some pair programming with some people on the team, just to kind of get some, see how things are going and how we work on things. And then as stuff comes in, I'll assign obviously some issues to jump on and work through. So nothing yet, but there'll be things. Don't worry. Dennis.
Yeah, so GA4, Jameson just flipped on Google Consent mode this morning, and so I'll be able to actually work on it finally. Javi has an MR, actually he merged it on docs.gitlab.com, which is the consent mode update to the code. However, we don't have tag manager access to docs, so we'll have to, I'm going to ask Miracle to push her MR live so that we can test it on about.gitlab.com. And then e-commerce data layer, yeah, Tyler, hold off on the data layer stuff for now. I've submitted some, I can see your screen, Justin. Hold off for now, and then but you can work on, the namespace stuff. It's tricky because I have to make it work for both Universal and GA4, and that's kind of the challenge. Legal stuff. Pre-post design redesign. Jay Stemmer from the finance group is adding his insights onto the deck. And then we're also going to kind of redo the analysis again, but expanding that date range out so that we can talk about it during our group convo on July 18 or something like that, 28, not sure. Swift type. Okay, yeah, we've done some analysis around our site search. And this one is basically me providing, I think, Laura or Lauren, a list of top queries and how we want to reorganize the ranking. That one is for the IR website. Oh, actually, Jameson just slacked me the code randomly instead of putting in the issue. So I'll put that code in the issue and then tag you, Justin, so you can send it over to the agency.
Okay, cool. No, that's awesome because I have a little more work to do for that one as well to add the links for their privacy policy on the bottom of that. But I was waiting for this code.
Okay. And yeah, the other two are for Tyler. And so I'll hand it back to you.
All right. Do you have anything else, Velza? Or no? All right, then I think we're probably good to go.